Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today our very special guest is Aman Kanwar. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey guys, my name is Aman.
I did it wrong.
He tried. I'm actually from Vancouver, Canada, but I live in New York right now. And I am a gay Indian guy, which is, I guess, why I'm here.
Thank God we got that off our chest. In this episode, Aman talks to us about growing up in a traditional Indian family and some of the big expectations that he's had and why he stayed closeted until he was 25. We talk about him dating a girl for 7 years and almost getting engaged to her if it wasn't for that one trip to New York that changed his life. I'm not gonna say any more because I want you to tune in and watch the entire thing. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you know when we upload a new video. All right, buckle your seatbelts. It's about to get juicy. You grew up in an Indian household. Tell us what the dynamic was like with your parents growing up, expectations.
I grew up in a very traditional Indian household. You had some expectations in terms of what it was like to be a man in an Indian household and versus what it was like to be a woman in an Indian household. Whether that was the toys you played with growing up, fire truck, or a baseball bat. Whereas when I went to the toy store, Toys R Us, I would want like the Barbie mobile or the Barbie doll or like the unicorn with the long hair. And I remember like growing up and just being very jealous of like my cousin who like got like the dolls. And sometimes when she would fall asleep, I would take it.
Stealing Barbies from since young.
Right. But even like as you get older, there's expectations. You're supposed to play sports and not be into art. You're the Indian man of the household, which means you are supposed to be the primary breadwinner. You're supposed to do the more laborious tasks. You're the head of the family, which sometimes I think worked in my favor because it's like, yeah, you're not supposed to be doing your laundry. You're not supposed to be washing your dishes. The women of the household do that. Oh. And that was a huge shock when I moved out and lived on my own, because then I was like, oh shit, I have to do my own laundry.
Yeah.
Nobody taught me how to do this. So yeah, it was a very different environment that I grew up in versus like the society and the culture that I live in now.
Growing up, did you know any LGBTQ people?
I did not. Definitely not within the community.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I reached university, I think, where I started making friends and started broadening my horizons and, you know, having new perspectives. And I think my first LGBTQ friend was probably Kevin from, I don't know if you know him, from Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah, from Tommy.
Wow. And
was that like the first person that you met?
That I hung out with outside, just like being in school and just being at work, just learning about like his experiences as an open gay man was both very intimidating. It was also very inspiring because it was like, well, you can do it, you know?
Did you ever struggle hanging out with someone that was gay or at the beginning?
Absolutely. That was something that I was always really afraid of. I would say I was like almost borderline homophobic.
Yeah.
And it was like a coping mechanism. Yeah, I was definitely afraid.
Yeah, like so much internal homophobia where you're just, I had that too. I had that same struggle, whereas I didn't actually want to associate with gay people because I thought people were going to clock me for being gay. So I was just like, the further the association, the better it is for me.
Right. Or if they were too flamboyant, it was like, oh, why are you being so flamboyant in public? And it's just like, no, you should, like, now it's like, be whoever the hell you are. But,
totally.
You know,
all that internal homophobia from the past just like seeping in.
Right. Yeah.
You weren't visibly queer growing up. Was there any moments of your childhood or teenage years where you did experience homophobia towards you or shame?
Oh, all the time. I wasn't visibly queer. Sorry, queer. I wasn't visibly queer. Why can't I say the word?
Keep going back. I wasn't visibly queer.
I wasn't visibly, I would say, but there were moments where I think people would block me. I think high school was really hard for me for that reason. It's like, oh, you don't have a girlfriend? Why? Are you gay? Oh, that shirt is a little too bright. Oh, why don't you like sports? Why are you so good at art? Very often it was like dealing with a group of boys that were like, are you gay because you're really good at drawing this? You're dressed a certain way. You hang out with more girls than you do with guys.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I hang out with more girls because they get me. Because they don't keep asking me if I'm gay.
Yeah. It's crazy that those stereotypes of just like creativity, fashion, and all the all those other things you said, that links you to being gay, where, I mean, deep down you were, but at the same time it's just like, why does that have to be the identity of that?
Right. Yeah. And I thought being gay you had to act a certain way. And like, you know, like when I was first kind of experimenting within my closet, pun intended,
closet.
But yeah, I remember I think once in high school I wore mascara because I was just like, okay, I'm gay, that means I'm supposed to wear mascara, because I saw some other guy who was gay do it. And that was a rough day at school.
I would have gone home at lunch.
I didn't think I was gonna get clocked, but I guess when you're like a 15-year-old gay guy, you don't know how to apply mascara, so I'm pretty sure I gave myself like raccoon eyes, and I was just like, oh, I'm just casual day in high school.
Start sweating because of all the bullying, and you're just like, mascara's running.
Yeah.
To that point, it is so true. When you're younger, for me, the only visible queer people or gay people were like super flamboyant people, and that was a stereotype of what gay was. So I thought I had to act like that to be gay, where it's like, you don't. Okay, so you dated a girl for 7 years and you were almost going to be engaged to this girl. Let's talk about that.
When I was in high school, I was still trying to figure out who I was, what my sexual orientation was. Now I have a better understanding where I'm not like, it's not as black and white as I used to think it was.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely a spectrum. That's why I hate when like somebody asks you for your label. Like, are you gay? Are you bi? Are you straight? Like, can't I just be somewhere in between? Like, why does it matter?
100%.
So I didn't start dating until I was in university, and I met this like gorgeous girl, and I was like, oh, I'm really attracted to her. That means I must be straight. Or maybe like she cured me.
Or pressure from society.
Pressure to please my parents, bring home a nice Indian girl, or even just to prove to my friends and my social group that, you know, I'm straight. So yeah, we started dating in Indian families. As soon as you start dating someone, the families meet and they approve of each other, and so all that happened. She was my best friend. I think I kind of mistook that as you're the love of my life. She was, in a sense, representing the kind of life that I was supposed to live.
Yeah.
You know, I was supposed to get married to a nice Indian girl who's pretty well educated, supposed to have kids, supposed to, you know, settle down here. And I was very much okay with that life. Mm-hmm. I was very much like, I came to terms with, this is the kind of life I'm going to live. And, you know, I'm just going to go through the motions and make my parents proud. And so, yeah, we dated for 7 years. Until I left Vancouver to go to school.
Wow. And throughout those 7 years, did you have any feelings or inklings that it wasn't right, or that you were suppressing that queer side of you?
Yes, definitely. Because it's like always in like the back of your mind that, you know, hey, like I'm attracted to guys. But being in a small town of Surrey with predominantly minority groups, I never experimented. I never like went out and you know, kind of explored that side of me. Also, I think back then, being in university, I was working so hard towards just being a doctor, because that was like my next step. That was literally my life. So I never really tried to break free. I never traveled. I never really like went out and made new friends. I never went to a gay bar in Vancouver. So it really wasn't until I left my routine and left my hometown and like went to go travel abroad that I was like exposed to all these different like, you know, ways of life. And I was also like by myself, so it was like, oh, I could be anyone I want to be. So there was no pressure from society.
Reflecting on you being with your girlfriend for 7 years, and acknowledging that if you never went to New York, you would have been comfortable getting married, having kids, and completely suppressing your queerness down. What are your reflections on that now?
Hell no.
Yeah.
No, I would have been miserable. Maybe it would have been different because I wouldn't have known this other world had I not gone to New York. This like freedom, I would have never tasted it. Maybe I would have just found peace in the fact that my parents and my society is proud of me, that I'm filling like the mold. But I don't think I would have truly been happy. And I think had it not been now, I would have eventually I would like to think I would have eventually came out.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been like, I think it would have been when I was older, and it would have been a lot messier. I would have been married, I would have had kids and a wife, and it's just like, I'm so grateful for coming out when I did.
Yeah. Amen to that. No, I completely agree, because I look at you and I'm just like, oh my God, you were on the trajectory of getting married. And imagine if that happened, you would have been married, closeted, on your way to like having kids.
Yeah, but the scary thing is so many gay guys do it though. Yeah. Especially in our community.
Is there like a message almost that you want to say to someone that's maybe in that situation?
Well, step one, go to New York. I would say life is short. I was just so caught up in trying to be the perfect little Indian boy that I didn't realize how short life was and how much there was to do. And it makes me sad looking back, because I was like, I wasn't living my authentic life for so long. Yeah. And why would you want to go live your entire life trying to please other people and trying to fit into their box when you could literally be anyone you want to be? I think people here don't realize that there is a place for everyone. And if that place isn't here, and if that place isn't your family, then that's okay. You know, there will be a place elsewhere.
Say it louder for the people in the back. You're absolutely right. I think that we all do live in fear, which is a valid feeling, but at the same time, life is so goddamn short, and why not be the person you truly want to be? Do the things you want to do. Express yourself the way you want to express yourselves. Yeah. And find the people that will love, support you, and raise you up for that.
And sometimes that's not your family. No. And that's okay.
That is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Love that. When was the first time you experimented with a guy?
Well, I was 4 and it was in kindergarten. No, I'm kidding. The first time I experimented with a guy. So I studied in the Caribbean.
Big up! Look at us timing everything so perfectly.
Totally not rehearsed.
No,
did
definitely
it on the first try.
You were in St. Kitts and Nevis.
I was in St. Kitts and Nevis, yeah. Caribbean is also known to be like a very homophobic place to live. Definitely did not try anything there. Yeah. I experimented during my first trip to New York. I was in 5th semester. I was 25, and it was like the biggest shock. So many people, so much diversity. There's 2 guys holding hands walking down the street, 2 girls holding hands walking down the street, a guy dressed up as a clown miming on the street. There's a guy taking a crap on the street. Like, it's like everybody just does whatever they want.
Welcome to New York.
And that was when I built up the courage to go to my first gay bar ever. I put it off. I was there for a week. I was like, okay, I want to go on my first day. Didn't go. I'm going to go on the second day. No, I didn't go. On the 3rd day, I was like, okay, I only have 2 more days here, so I need to go to a gay bar. So I went to a gay bar, and that was the first time.
And having that first moment where you like went to the gay bar by yourself and you met that first person or experimented with that first person, what were the feelings that you were feeling because of your past being so closeted and so, I would say, suppressed all those feelings of that were authentic to you, but you suppressed them so much to abide to society? What were you feeling in those moments?
I was so nervous. Yeah. I was like terrified. I knew that I was not going to give my number out to anyone. I was not going to share my social media with anyone. I think I didn't even use my real name.
What was your name?
Oh my God.
What did you use?
Oh, Aaron. I think I used Aaron. But it was like not my real name. And
so if you're watching and you met an Aaron,
if you have been a victim of my fraud, I was always on the lookout if there was Indian family or an Indian like elder watching. I'd be like, oh, is he like, why is he staring at me? Like, you know? But nobody ever came up to me or said anything. But I just remember being really scared because it was still the beginnings of it. And I was like, I'm going from going into my first gay bar to not holding hands with a guy. Like, I think I went from like 0 to 100 real quick because I was scared this moment was gonna come again.
This is me.
I was like, I think I'm gonna go back to the Caribbean and go back to living my like, you know, positive life. It was like just a mixture of being scared and excited and not wanting the moment to end. I think was like the biggest thing.
And when you got back to the Caribbean, how did you feel? What were some of the feelings and emotions that you went through being back there?
I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was 25 and never within like the first 25 years of my life had I felt a need to come out and be like, you know, I'm gay. And if it wasn't for that trip, I would probably still be in the closet. After that trip, I just like felt like I was suffocating because I was like, now that I've kind of experienced what freedom is like, it's like, I don't want to be back in the closet. Like, I want to be free all the time.
Let me out!
Yeah. I don't care if my family is Indian and traditional. Like, I don't care if my friends don't accept me. Like, as long as like I can live like I literally felt like my true self in New York, you know. And I was like, I need that feeling no matter where I go. Yeah, not just in New York.
Did you come out after?
I did. I think.
Yes. Who was the first person you came out to?
The first person I came out to was my best friend Jessica, and it was in the Caribbean. 3 weeks after I came back from New York. It was at the beach and we were just having some rum punches.
Yeah, that's my drink!
It's my drink too. And I just told her and she was just like, okay. And I was like, that's it? Yeah.
Come on!
Right. I've built this up for 25 years. You're the first person. Come on, give me a reaction.
I need more.
No, she was so sweet and supportive. You know, she reassured me that, you know, I can take my time coming out. And she also just kind of told me that not everyone will agree with my lifestyle and that's okay. And that I shouldn't work myself over the fact that people won't agree with my lifestyle. As long as I'm happy about it. And I think that's what I always remember. Because after that, yeah, I came out to a lot of people. A lot of people didn't care. And of course, there were people who didn't agree with my lifestyle. And I feel like if she'd tell me, like, you know, just let it be, like, I wouldn't have just let it be.
I think that is super important to understand for anybody that is struggling with coming out, is that, like, not everybody is going to understand or agree with you, but at the same time, there's so many people out there that will accept you and you will find your group.
Exactly. It was more like, after I came out, it was such like a burden, like, off my shoulders that I felt that I was like happier and perkier. Not even that, I was more social. Like, I was like I would approach like people that I would not normally approach, and I made so many new friends after that. So it was
true.
Really cool.
You start to love yourself a lot more too.
Yeah,
100%. Because you're not hiding anything anymore. So coming out to your parents, what was that like? To watch that, you're gonna have to tune in next week to find out more about Aman's story, where he comes out to his parents, how they react, conversations that they have after. We talk also about the LGBTQ plus community in India and how his mom has perceived it growing up, what his life is like now. Thank you guys for watching again, and if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and comment, and tune in. Ciao for now.